Hey, it's John Nemo. So I want to share a really powerful little kind of 1-2 combo that you can use on LinkedIn to get qualified intent-based leads who are already a little bit warmed up to you and your content. So it's much easier to get a sales conversation going. So the first thing you're going to do is publish an article on LinkedIn. So obviously, if you're not familiar with how to do that, you just go to the home area, you click on start a post, and actually underneath that, you can just click write an article. And then basically, you can publish it as yourself. If you have a company page, that's an option. And then if you're not already doing a LinkedIn newsletter, I highly, that's a lot of highlies, encourage you to start a LinkedIn newsletter. If you're not familiar with that, basically what it is you have two options. When you publish an article on LinkedIn, you can just do it as a standalone individual article, or it can be part of a weekly or monthly or however often you want to publish daily newsletter. And the idea of doing a newsletter is you kind of put all your articles under one umbrella or one theme. And so for me, right, I've got one of LinkedIn lead generation tips versus just random individual articles. Now, I do publish individual articles. I'll show you that because there is value to that. But they're not going to get as much juice and as much traction as a newsletter article. So for example, let me show you. Here's an example of just a solo individual article I did. It was about lead generation, right? So it's just the unvarnished truth about lead generation. I published it. It's great, article and everything else. But where I really am seeing things move for me as far as lead generation is doing newsletters. So that's why I'm backing up here a little bit. When you publish an article, and again, you can feature it under a newsletter umbrella. And the reason this matters so much is you're going to be able to get subscribers. And the way that it works is when you publish a new episode or whatever you want to call it of your newsletter, a new edition, and what you can do is you're going to get subscribers. And you can see here, if you're watching my video, I've got 4,000 people that subscribe. And if I click on that number, 4,023, I can instantly see who these people are, what their job titles are, and then of course I can open their profiles in a new tab. I can invite them to connect. I can message them, and I have context for a conversation. So I've got 4,000 people here that are potential leads. They're intent-based. They've already opted in, so to speak, to say, I want your LinkedIn lead generation tips. I want to get your newsletter. And the other real powerful thing about LinkedIn newsletters is they actually come into your inbox. So if you're watching this video, you can see here I'm in my Gmail, and what I'm able to do is in my personal email, I have subscribed to a LinkedIn newsletter from Bob Bernadas, a client of mine, about franchising, right? So again, you see the whole newsletter. It comes into your email. You can read it all right there. And then, of course, you can click through and actually engage with the newsletter on LinkedIn too. So this is kind of the double power of a LinkedIn newsletter is not only do people see it on LinkedIn, they also get it in their home or work email inbox delivered, just like, being on someone else's email list. So it's a really powerful thing. Now, to get to the whole 1-2 punch combo for this video, I wanted to obviously set the table of how to set this up. So do a LinkedIn newsletter, write an article. So let's go back to the beginning. You basically go in to the LinkedIn home area, you click write an article. If you haven't already, set it up as a newsletter, right? Make sure you choose that, write the article and publish it. Now, the next thing you're going to do is a day later, or it could be even the same day, but I'm testing this as 1 day later. So yesterday on Wednesday, I published an article under LinkedIn lead generation tips, all about like 5 tips on how to engage 200 to 300 of your ideal prospects every single day on LinkedIn. So I wrote this long article, right? I'm promoting it, status update, messaging people, email list, all that. So, already getting some good comments and feedback and things like that about the article, which is great. Now, how do I extend that on LinkedIn beyond just promoting it again as a status update? Well, one thing I've found to be really, really effective on LinkedIn, if you're not using them already, is LinkedIn polls. And so the way that a poll works on LinkedIn is, again, if you go into the home area, and then if you click start a post, and then click the little 3 dots where it says more, you can actually create a poll. See, I'll zoom in on the video, but you can create a poll. And you can write these poll questions, right? And then people can vote. And the beautiful thing about LinkedIn polls is you get to see everyone who votes on your poll. And so the reason that's so valuable is, again, similar to the newsletter, how you can see every subscriber, you can actually see everyone who votes on your poll. So what I did was, step 1 is I published this LinkedIn article. And then step 2 is I actually, a day later, ran a LinkedIn poll. And the LinkedIn poll basically leads people back to the article. I say in the LinkedIn poll, would you be interested in discovering 5 ways you can reach out to 200 to 300 of your ideal prospects on LinkedIn daily? And then I say, if you want that, just vote yes on the poll and I'll send you the tips. No opt-in required. What I'm basically doing is saying, hey, are you looking for LinkedIn tips? If so, vote yes and I'll send them to you. Okay, and what's happening is you can see, I just put this poll up like an hour ago. I've got 13 people who voted, and 13 people voted yes, send me the free tips. And you can see here, I've got their names. If they're a first degree connection, I can message them right away just by clicking a little message icon. If they're second degree, I can send them an invite to connect, or an in-mail, or an open profile message if they have an open profile, and I can include a link to the tips, right? But the key here is context for conversation. Each of these people I can either message or invite or in-mail and say, hey, thanks for voting on the poll. As promised, here's your link to the 5 tips on how to get more leads on LinkedIn. So the idea is very simple of you're qualifying people with a poll and then you're delivering value on the back end so that you've got intent from these individuals. They're showing you the intent of, yes, I want your free tips on this topic. And 2, you've got context for a conversation of, hey, great, you saw my poll, you voted, here's why I'm reaching out, here are the tips. And then 3, you now have a lead that you can qualify with content. Because again, the beautiful thing about LinkedIn is I can look at every single person, immediately look at their profile, their job title, industry, everything else, and see, are they a fit for me? Are they the type of prospect I want? For the ones that are, you want to go deeper, right? Now you can go and you can look at their profile. You can not only send the tips, but you can look for things to say based on their profile page and what they've shared publicly about where they live, where they went to school, what type of work they do. And so you can hyper-personalize your follow-up even more. And the reason it's valuable to do that is you already know that this person's interested in your stuff. That's why I love kind of qualifying people first at a more broad level with just content and basically saying, hey, are you interested in these tips? If they say yes, then get personal and say, hey, awesome, here are the free tips. By the way, I looked at your profile. I noticed you live in Florida. How's life treating you, et cetera, right? That's that rapport building, personalized approach. So again, the 1-2 punch is very simple. Step 1 is publish the article. Step 2, create a LinkedIn poll, basically asking a question. And if they answer yes, you're going to send them a link to the article. And if they answer no, then that's fine. They're not a lead. They aren't qualified. Again, this is the first time I've done this. 13 votes already, basically 13 leads in an hour saying, yes, I'm interested in these tips. Now I can follow up, qualify them, send them content, chase them later on to see what they think of the tips in the article. And actually, let me show you a real-time example of how this works. Hold on. I've actually got a screenshot pulled up here. Hopefully, maybe I need to make it bigger. But basically, I literally got a reply here already that says, there's a private message. Excellent job, John, cutting through the noise. I did learn something from your article as well, and it seems like you're legit. I would like to talk about lead generation. And then they put their number and name in the comments in the private message. So this is why this model works, is you literally, right, you qualify people, you demonstrate expertise, you prove that you're legitimate, you establish authority, you establish credibility through content. So you're not taking time to talk to this person one-on-one and teach them and show them and train them that you're the real deal. You can do this at scale with content. They can qualify, they can follow up, they can say, oh, cool, your content was actually helpful, I actually learned something, there's some takeaways, I can actually do things with it. Now I want to go deeper. Now I want to learn more because your content demonstrated expertise and authority and credibility and legitimacy. So I love this as a real-time example that popped in here while I was making this video. So get after it. Make sure you take these steps. Step 1, publish an article on LinkedIn. Make sure you demonstrate value, get people quick wins. Obviously, do a great job with that. And then step 2, not only promote it via LinkedIn status updates, emails, messages, but run a LinkedIn poll a day or two later and tie it back to the article. And basically, if they vote yes, send them a link to the article because that's going to be another way where, again, you get more leads, you extend the life of the article, more people read the article. That helps the LinkedIn algorithm because it's getting more likes and comments, and you're sending more traffic to it over the long haul as opposed to just the one status update you did. So hopefully this is super helpful. Love these different ideas. If you haven't already, obviously subscribe to my LinkedIn lead generation tips newsletter. I'm putting it up here on the video. I will also put a link into it for wherever you're watching. This is where I share all these types of tips. You can see I've got 14 different editions, and I'm always putting in kind of my latest and greatest LinkedIn lead generation tips and fashion photos. Here I am in my moon boots, right? Rocking the 1980s, having a lot of fun with the content. So appreciate you. Definitely sign up for more tips here on the newsletter, and we'll see you soon in another video and audio.